Man, it's about time somebody said it, but podcasts, Bigfoot podcasts, are really going downhill. I mean, like, the offerings from a lot of the shows that I listen to for hundreds of episodes have just stopped putting out anything of any entertainment. I find myself just fast forwarding through some of these nitwits they have on, and rarely is there a very compelling, exciting, worthwhile guest on these free episodes. Sasquatch Chronicles wants to make money with the membership and whatever, that's fine. But I mean, I'm telling you, like, if I was on a podcast, I would never agree to just let somebody make, member only money on me. I get there's ads on YouTube videos. I get there's ads on these podcasts. But, I don't like the truth being exclusive for those who are willing to pay. But regardless, it's just, you don't really get any really good episodes from Sasquatch Chronicles, from the Confessionals podcast. That one, it's totally disappointed in lately. It's, maybe once in a while there'll be something that's kind of good, but I don't know. Tony always plays dumb and acts, he says, oh, I'm just a dumb truck driver. You got to play stupid in order to get by. Let the New World Order not shadow ban you and blacklist you, so you never can really know anything, even if you're going to talk about something. So you can't take a stand and firmly plant your belief system anywhere except, I don't really know, guys. That seems to be the case. I mean, Wes is pretty firm about the way he conducts his business. At least he's fairly professional about it, you know what I mean? Even though I don't like his feelings on the creatures, but I don't know. I've never been assaulted by one, so you get messed around with by Sasquatch. You might have a different opinion about them. So, but yeah, I wish there were some better offerings. I did 16 episodes of the Unscripted podcast. Never really thought it would go anywhere. Just joined on to get my opinion out there because I am shadow banned and I am blacklisted, and I knew it. And when I got the invite to co-host a podcast, and when it was all the behind the scenes work was being done to get it put onto Anchor and all this, and it wasn't in my name, I thought, okay, yeah, maybe we got a chance of being seen. But I really feel that once the government knows who you are and corporate America starts banning you, and if you listen to Jacob Applebaum, you'll find this to be true, that there are online computer programs and algorithms and things going on behind the scenes that I've heard about where they know who you are. It doesn't matter what email you're using. They figure out it's you and they blacklist you and they shut you down. I know for a fact there's apps that I've used to make thousands of dollars, and all of a sudden they just dry up and there's nobody calling and there's nobody but people yanking your chain and setting you up actually to waste your time and your money to meet for nothing, to sell nothing, to make no money. That's happened to me numerous times in the past year or so, 2 or 3 times, I would say, the whole time using the app. But just people jerking me around, agreeing to meet, not following up, just wasting time. And I've also experienced it on Instacart, where I've shopped and made a lot of money, and then all of a sudden it just dried up completely. And I know there was instances where people were actually paying hackers for these hacked Instacart apps that would get the highest paying batches for you, and you could make hundreds of dollars a day doing that. But I'm not a fraudulent person, but so I don't know if I was being shadow banned on that or somebody else was getting, and all these people were getting all the money that way. It just seems like kind of impossible that there would be a way to control that. But so I've experienced that. So yeah, do I think I can go out and make a podcast? Hell no. But do I have a lot to say? Yeah, that's why I like to be a guest on some of these podcasts, just to come out and give my opinion, which is kind of radical on some of these ideas, but just getting people to think what's really going on. you know, the whole state of the Bigfoot world is really turning into fakery. And whether you're stealing somebody's money or you're wasting their time showing them fake ass bullshit, it's all theft. Scott Carpenter is doing a lot of faking lately, making erroneous claims, calling things Dogman, saying Dogman jumps on a tree to look at him. It's like, I mean, absolute absurdity. Seeing things that, I mean, I just don't know what this guy is. Obvious. It's a cult. It's a cult. Like, you become this cult leader with this expectancy to show me something. And, oh, let's see, go through the videos. And people are just like Mark Abell from Colorado Bigfoot, feeding them things, feeding them garbage. Literally, here, oh, thanks, so-and-so, sending me in all these pictures that they've, all these creatures in my video, duh. At least Scott's, I don't know, I presume he's finding this bullshit himself and not being fed the Emperor's New Clothes scenario, although he's participating in it. Kelly Shaw, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. I'm thinking about making a video just about this topic. They say, oh, I just heard a mouth pop down there. And they're right at the top of this mountain looking down, and Kelly swings around and they look down all the way hundreds of feet where they said it came from, and he decides there's nowhere good to zoom in, and he kind of pans all the way to the right, and all of a sudden as he goes back down, he doesn't stop on this thing when in the video in real time, but after the fact, oh, look guys, is this the face of a creature? Like standing at their same elevation, looking at him from like 40 feet away under a tree. Like, no, it's not. It's like a rotting stump or something. It's pareidolia. That's what happens with digital footage. It's prone to create pareidolia. I've said it because I've heard it. It was a caller on the Coast to Coast AM program that mentioned this. Nice black gentleman said, you know, the best thing about that Patterson-Gimlin film was that it was filmed at 8mm. And it's true, you can zoom in on that. It doesn't get all pixelated. You can zoom right in and see such amazing detail. And this was a film school student that just happened to find that interesting and relay his knowledge of film to his interpretation of the Patterson-Gimlin film. But it's stuck out to me because I realize now this pareidolia phenomenon and the cult-like mentality that people don't have. See, people can never say no. People can never put the brakes on. People can never say, oh, I don't know. It's like saying, is the government corrupt? Yeah. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. See, they can't, their brains are fucking suffering from cognitive dissonance. They don't even understand. They're stuck in this cycle of just believing the shit. One time I disagreed with somebody, this dude that does all these like investigations, this southern dude, and he had his daughter on there, and she'd be on and off the show, and it was just a real country-ass crap show sometimes, but I was interested in the animal attacks because I had talked about some of that stuff in my podcast. And then it was interesting. I was like, oh, I don't know, that doesn't look real to me. It's like, what are you even here for? He said to me, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been commenting with you. You've been calling me out by name on your live chats. You know who I am. You're interested in my opinion all the time. And then, oops, one wrong move. Oh, a little step on the toe. Hey, what are you fucking slowing me down for? Hey, yeah, check yourself. Check your fucking self. Sometimes you got to do that to your friends, to your coworkers, to your family, to yourself. Sometimes you got to put the brakes on and go, hey, I don't know. Let's think about this logically. But people are not doing that. People are not doing that at all. And it's a complete shit show. And then when you see the Scott Carpenters and the Kelly Shaw of the Rocky Mountains Sasquatch organization doing that shit, it's like, what the fuck? What is with the Kelly Shaw? Did that dude hit a fucking jackpot at the casino? Like, he doesn't work at all? What's going on with that? Like, life's tough for me out here. I'm just wondering, like, how's he making his money? From his website? Like, does that fund his Bigfoot excursion in his life? I'm curious. Like, I really want to know. I'm just like, I don't steal money and I don't support corporate American fucking bullshit ads. I don't like ads on YouTube. Like, oh, I got fucking integrity. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something from the ground up myself for somebody I respect. Not because they got money, because I'm doing something that I'm giving somebody and I think they are fit to receive it. That's the way I think about the world. I don't chase the dollar. I chase the truth. Know the truth. Understand the truth. Now I got to figure out how to go out and teach the truth this next half of my life to the world, because they're lost. They don't know what's going on, and it's fucking full speed ahead season. And so I got to find selective places where I can stand, where I'm not whooshed away by the fucking stream of corporate America and everything else in the world that you're trying to fucking dodge bullets, literally and metaphorically with. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit out there in this world, so you try to put yourself in just a nice fucking safe place. And yeah, sometimes, man, I wonder, is it worth trying that hard? Because I was so offended with my podcast when I'm like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have corporate ads on the channel. I gotta cut my train of thought and get back to this, because I hear these ads on his podcast, although I have to give Vic Cundiff a lot of credit. That guy doesn't hold back. That guy puts out the info, and I'm telling you, I appreciate everything he puts out, because there's been a lot more good stuff than bad stuff with him. And I think some of the most memorable episodes I've ever heard were on Vic's numerous shows. He's got my Bigfoot encounter, and he's also got another Bigfoot one with the name of which eludes me right now, but it isn't on YouTube, which is kind of disappointing. And I can still listen to it on my podcast app. But yeah, it's free. I'm not paying for it. I'm enjoying every effing minute. So shout out to Vic Cundiff, because he is selling the bullshit corporate ads, but that's the way it's trickling in. He's got to do a few shows, but guess what I just heard Wes say on a members only show just now on YouTube? He's working on another show. Working on a different show idea, I believe he said. I was fast forwarding. Skipped the very intro to the sentence that he's talking about. Said he's working on a few show ideas for a new show. Sort of time consuming, but I got the gist of it. But that's what you got to do. Spread yourself out and try to get money different ways. But then the system will shut you down if you go against the system. Trust me, folks. I found this out the hard way. Through Bigfoot. Criticized Richter Rollo, the guy who did the $1 million Bigfoot or the Bigfoot bounty. This gay dude just putting heinous queer homosexuality with Bigfoot, calling him out, asking him why he's trying to slander MK Davis and telling him why MK Davis is right about all this shit. Guess what? He's calling members of my family, him and his associates, calling my work, trying to get me fired from my job. You have no idea. I'm a very good employee, I'll let you know. But there was one owner that disliked me and one crazy lady that worked there. I could go into the drama. You know how workplaces are. But, you know, I actually criticized them for giving me a 25-cent raise, and that's why I lost my job there. Not anything to do with Bigfoot. But guy said, how do you like working for so-and-so? And I said, well, he's all right. But I said, that 25-cent raise he gave me wasn't that generous. Fired. And that was just somebody else that just happened to talk bad. I didn't know it was his friend. And that's the way life works. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not too worried about it. But when you get that harassment, trust me, when you get harassment from Bigfoot on that level, dude, there's some psychos out there. Total psychos. Colorado fucking forest beings tripped on me for telling them, why are you fucking getting so mad about Melba Ketchum, bud? You're absolutely wrong. And you're seeing shit out there in the rocks. Like, you'd find real shit, but then, I mean, I was being a dick, but it was because of that whole Melba Ketchum shit. But he's told me shit behind the scenes that makes me know about his personality and understand he's definitely the psychopathic cult leader, because he's worried about subscribers and gravitated to me because he saw I had 5,000 subscribers, thinking that I'm going to bring 5,000 number count onto him, and he's trying to get that number up and up and up by the thousands. That's his goal, so that's why he went out hiking with me. And I picked the fucking spot where I've never been. Picked it on the map, brought him to a spot. He said, dude, this is the best day I've ever had. I've never found this many structures and this much evidence ever anywhere I've gone in my life. Never met the guy before. Took him to a fucking complete strange spot in northern Colorado. Picked it on the map near his house. Drove fucking hour and a half there in the fucking snow hiked with snow up to my fucking knees with this dude. Met him at like 4 in the fucking morning, 3 in the morning. Like whatever time he wanted to meet. It was like absurd time. It's like, let's meet up at 5. I'm like, sure. Putting me to the test. Took him up there. Found shit in the fucking winter. Best day he's ever had Sasquatching in the winter up to that point. You know, and I don't know. Like I said, I know a lot of shit behind the scenes. Me and him that I'm not going to put on video. And he just tripped out on me trying to threaten me and shit after I told him, you know, that he's wrong about stuff. But it's, you see it, you know, people will fake shit where they see it in a video. Oh, do you think that was Sasquatch threw something at me? No. Oh, I'm going to put a video up anyway. Oh, do you think that's a picture of Sasquatch right there? No, dude, that's like a, you know, a tree stump behind some pines. No, I don't know. I'll put it out there anyway. Like, that's the mentality of so many of these cult guys that are like, it doesn't matter if you give me your opinion about something. They want to go full speed ahead with it. I went out with Kelly. There was a fucking teepee at the trailhead he took me to. I'm like, oh, look over there, bro. It was like, maybe it was like fucking 100 feet, like on the fucking fence line, like near fucking somebody else's property, but like a fucking clear Sasquatch teepee, like over in a direction that wasn't where the trail went. It was like off to the left, like, but I still saw it. And he's like, holy shit. It's like, never saw that. New hike here. I'm like, I don't know. Fucking, you tell me. So I'm just letting it fly, man. The shit's kind of phony out there. You got to wonder, like, what's really going on? Is it all about a buck right now? The world is getting tight, guys. You know it. Everybody I know is feeling it. Every business owner I've worked for in the last few years, especially since COVID, water up to their fucking necks. You still breathing? You better fucking hope business keeps walking through the door, transactions keep happening. Because rent's going up, food's going up, prices are going up, cost is going up, hourly wage ain't going up. But I'm just telling you, man, everything's getting more fucking expensive. They're putting the heat on the fucking world right now. And then the podcasters are putting fucking corporate sponsored garbage ads to make a fucking buck on their shit. I don't want to do that. I want to talk against that shit. I'm at war with that aspect of the world. There's the real world and the counterfeit. Anybody who really understands God, who really understands the deception in this world, the metaphor, but the actuality of it all, how it's facilitated through the secret society members. You see, the Freemasons are no different than the Pharisees in the days of Jesus. The Jesuits are no different than the Roman soldiers who grabbed you by the fucking ankles and wrists, crucified you, and did what they were told to do with you. These people work for the system. It hasn't changed one bit. But do we protest? Do we protest? No, we're just looking for the dollar. That's the root of all the evil. So it's like you're forced to be in constant conflict. I was like, oh, I want to have a business. But you just keep working in that business to fucking pay your rent and pay the fucking government Freemasons and Jesuits on the Colorado State Seal who are your enemy. What's the point? Why would you want to make fucking money for them? Why? For a system that fucking does fucking school shootings, for a system that does public shootings, for a system that does government-sponsored terrorism in your state at the fucking grocery store up in Boulder. You get it? This is my world. This is close to home. I know, Columbine's, I drive by it all the time. You get it? This is the Colorado truth. This is the world. You got to understand the world we live in, how they operate. Boston is a seething shithole of New World Order fucking scum. A lot of these cities, they're pulling off fucking major terrorism, dude. You got to understand, even the Marshall Fire, I believe Xcel Energy to have started that, and they probably burn it down for developers to rebuild nice, because I was talking to my boss the other day. He says, oh, that was a bunch of old shithole little podunk houses and blah, blah, blah. This guy, I'll ask him anything about Denver. He's got history. Super cool dude to work with. Not the owner, but a guy above me. Just a real nice guy. Elder that I really appreciate hearing his opinions and getting his knowledge about the world and about, you know, the surrounding Denver area. But it just goes to show, yep, totally feasible. It was actually reported on the news that Xcel Energy had started the fire, and then it was redacted. Can you fucking believe that shit? Anyway, can you believe the shit that goes on in this world? So anyway, taking a full circle, guys. Yeah, you want the fucking corporate America takeover to stop? How can you stop it? You know, you want the military to stop terrorizing the world. How can you stop it? They're in the driver's seat. They're never going to give it up. They'll wreck the vehicle before they ever give control to the people, before they ever go down. How are you going to prosecute these people? They need to be in prison. How are you going to do it? How are you going to stop them? Don't care. They're just worried about Bigfoot. Well, I think it's bigger than Bigfoot. That's the God's honest truth. That theme has been on my mind for a long time because it is bigger than Bigfoot, and that's why I post truth videos and not just Sasquatch evidence, because this is a truth channel that talks about whatever I find to be the truth in this world. And Sasquatch was a new truth to me, and it's a truth that entered my life, and I find it of great importance. But there are greater issues at hand. Don't forget that. Thanks for listening. Take care.